Hi, it's Amanda coming to you from Milan in Italy, and it's the Etro edition. It's Design Week Milan. Super excited for this. Can't wait. And we're going to talk about some of the beautiful designs that Etro put out, their fabrics, their leather goods, their amazing home furnishings. I dream of having an Etre bedroom. But Milan has this amazing design week every year. And of course, last year, very sadly, it was a different story altogether. So all of these events happen. There's this entire booklet over the next 2 weeks. It runs from the 4th to the 9th of September. And you might want to visit one year. The great and the good from every corner of design, from, I don't know, I'll read some names, Missoni, or all of the main designers in Milan partake, and it's generally in the Brera and around the design district. If you've never been, it's super exciting, and my goodness, it's been an absolute visual feast for me, and I've super enjoyed it. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And of course, the sponsors are none other than, for this book, Chanel. So last edition I did all the Chanels and the luxury perfumes. So tonight, Etre. It's kind of like my Trussardi edition I did. I'll hook it up there. You can go and have a look. Another amazing Italian brand. But tonight it's all about Etre. And I have my Etre spoilies here and this beautiful last rose from my garden, because we're going to do Man Rose, one of the beautiful, beautiful Trussardi, Etre. Why did I say Trussardi? Because I just spoke about them. Man Rose, the beautiful Etre perfume. So just to start, we're getting into a feeling here. This is my sort of Etre inspired coat, which I wear. I'll just give you a little view of it as much as I can. Etre have these lovely paisleys and brocade, rich fabrics in muted shades. And so I had this jacket made by a dear friend who designs in Milan. Here it has denim with this print on it. And if I turn around, you can see it has all different brocades and fabrics. Here it has a bit of tartan, here another bit of tartan. So it's rather special, and I do love it. And I also have a blue one with all blue tones. So Etre, kind of, the way I could describe their chic, they're incredibly chic. It's a kind of bohemian luxury. So yeah, so I'm really enjoying we've got the first little bit of cool weather. And as you know, normally I'm sweating it out here over summer. But this is the last of the late lives at midnight. Soon we'll be getting into, well, we're already in fall and autumn. And the lives will go out earlier, as they do on a Wednesday at 9 o'clock. So this is the last of the midnight lives. But hey, you can still watch it back immediately. And next week we'll be on at 9, because I obviously need to get to sleep eventually. So yeah, welcome. If you're new here, my name's Amanda. You're so welcome. We're going to talk about Etro, as I mentioned, an iconic brand from Milan during Design Week here in Milan. I'm coming to you direct from Milan. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet and you've been watching for a while, hey, what are you waiting for? Go on and subscribe. About 50% of most people who watch any video are not subscribed. Go on, what you're waiting for. And like the video, most important. Just so nice to have a like. So do that right now, maybe. Okay, if you want to introduce yourself, there's a text box running along the side. And just write in there. I also have a new section that I'm going to be doing every week called Ask Amanda, in which you can send me your questions. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you should be. Same name, Italy Vintage Perfume. Send me your questions as a message in Instagram, and I will choose one of the questions. You can ask me anything. We'll see if I answer it, but yeah. Certainly I'll choose a question that'll be interesting for everybody to experience. And so please start sending me your questions. Always preface it with Ask Amanda. So Ask Amanda is a new section that we'll have each time. So here we are. I hope you're going to enjoy tonight's edition. Let's get straight into it. Etro. Right. So these colors, these muted sort of dark colors like the lip I have on this evening, which is a Chanel, by the way. A couple of people have asked me in previous videos, what's the shade of Chanel? If I'm away from the extremely bright light, you might be able to see it. There it is. So that's the shade. It's Chanel and it's 130. Rouge Allure Velvet Extreme Rouge Obscure. So it's an obscure rouge. It's kind of wine colored, same color as my fingernails, my nails. So it's called Rouge Obscure, Chanel 130. The same color and same muted colors of many of Etro's design wears, these sort of purpley, winey. These are roses dried from my garden, but it's very Etro-esque. It's kind of bohemian stroke chic. Aren't these gorgeous? Look at these. They look like they're made of velvet. But these are the kind of shades, the sort of off shades, not bright shades, but soft mustards, deep colors, like this brocade that I have on with sort of pinks and purples and lovely velvets they use. So those of you who know the Etre brand, my goodness. So let me give you some history. So let's talk about Etre as a brand. And I'm going to refer to my notes because you know me, I make notes. And we're doing a deep dive tonight. So I want to be able to tell you some of the backstory, the short backstory of Etro. And then we'll go to the perfumes because I'm gonna review these amazing perfumes. Oh my God, they're so amazing. I'm too excited. And talk a little bit about Etro and the perfumes, which is what I'm here for. I'm here for the perfume. Hopefully you are too, but hey, whatever you're here for, let's do it. I'm so thrilled to have Milan Design Week after last year's such a sad period where Milan was completely shut down for months. You probably saw it on the news. Italy suffered enormously, and we shouldn't forget. This time last year, I had lots of friends in hospital and lost quite a few of them. And I know that we all want to get over COVID. We don't talk about it, but I think we should just take a little look back and be very grateful that this year Milan is teaming with designers and people coming back, and I couldn't be happier. Okay, so let's have a look at Etro. I'm going to have to go into my, okay, got it. Okay, so who is Etro? Okay, I'll just give you some of my notes. Etro is an Italian fashion house and manufacturer of fabrics, beautiful fabrics, accessories, leather goods, clothes, and fragrances. So they're often on the runways, they're very chic, and they are certainly one of the top fashion brands in Milan and around Europe, of course. Founded in 1968 by Gimmo Etro, which is the family name, obviously, a beautiful name, and it is still the family business. And probably you recognize the Pegasus, the flying horse. If you go and look at Instagram after this, and when you watch this back, I'll be posting all the perfumes and all the stuff that happened. Masked Man, hello, darling, and Randy. We've got men tonight. I love it. I've got such a great surprise for you because we've got a stunning male fragrance that I discovered at Etro. Cannot wait to share it with you. So, who are Etro? Fragrances, colors, thoughts. Etro is a sort of rich blend of something very chic and pulled from all kinds of civilizations. It's kind of a very refined brand that encompasses lots of historic fabrics and also modern takes on fabrics. It's quite mysterious, exciting, and bohemian, as I spoke about, but super chic, and I think a little bit ephemeral, and I love that. As I mentioned, it's my dream to have a bedroom one day designed by Etro. I dream. Anyway, I've got my Etro-esque my wrap coat on tonight, so that's about as far as I've gone so far, and a few of my Etro spoilies. So let's tell you a little bit more about the company. So moving on to the fragrances, there are 22 current fragrances that Etro produces. I mean, they are sort of, quality, let's say, luxury fragrances with Pegasus, that flying horse, which I'm going to show you. The label's recipe is, they use the top Nerolis, lovely bergamot, but the ones I'm going to review tonight, I'm not going to give them away yet, are just absolutely exquisite blends of iris, rose, beautiful patchouli, absolutely stunning. So men's and women's, and then of course some unisex. Etro has redesigned the entire line of their packaging. So this is my spoilie. This is the vicolo Fiori, which is a perfume. This is the cream. And these beautiful paisley, there's a paisley print on all the bottles. I don't know how well you can see it in this light, but we'll give it a spin. So each bottle has this lovely paisley print on it. And these are my spoilies that I take away with me when I go on a weekend away. Look at them. I mean, you just put them in a bag. So there's the shampoo, there's the cream, there's the gorgeous perfume. So yeah, I love them. They're my spoilies. So it has designed all of this, highlighted by paisley motifs. Paisley are those, who doesn't know what paisley are? I'm not going to explain paisley. You can look it up. And also black and white shot. Have a look. Hi, Niran. Hello, my darling. So we've got 3 men in the room, all my lovely followers. So lovely to have you guys. Welcome. And you're going to be spoiled tonight because I'm reviewing one of the best male fragrances I've tried in a while, and believe me, I've done everything from Dolce & Gabbana to Clive Christensen. I've done them all, so it's going to be a treat. So that's what Etro is about. These beautiful fragrances and these gorgeous redesigned bottles. And if you ever get a chance to come to Milan, I have just spent a day and two at the Etro store. There are various stores around, but then there's the actual workshop Etro store, the original one in the Brera, which is the design district. My God, it's absolutely stunning. You go in there and they had a whole room set up that I fell in love with. They posted it on my Instagram, and I'll be doing updates tomorrow, so you'll be able to go and search out all these fragrances and see the beautiful photographs. This is coming to you live, so I can't put in excerpts. Anyway, so let's get right to it, shall we? Okay, so I've told you a bit about Etro, and originally the lids always just said Etro on them. Now they have Pegasus, so even the little spoilies, all of them have this very distinctive Etro branding. And I mentioned that the colors are all muted, sort of russety, dark purples and shades, and leather shades that make beautiful leather goods. Absolutely great. But we're going to start out. My last rose from the garden. Isn't she the most beautiful thing? Sun-kissed completely. Look how amazing this rose is. I'm in love with it. Anyway, so let's get right to these fragrances, shall we not? So I just mentioned that I spent the week with Chanel, with Lancôme, Masson, Lancôme, Guerlain, all of them, Versace. All of them had a wonderful, wonderful time. And I'll be doing deep dives into some of these companies. Dolce & Gabbana's next. I'm going to be doing Versace. And we're going to look at these Italian companies and the fragrances that produce, some of whom you wear. I'm sure some of you wear Dolce. and some of you, and you guys can chat. I love getting you guys together to chat about fragrance. So let's start immediately with these beautiful, and I've put them in the order that I want to present them to you, from the lightest to maybe the more intense, okay? So the first one we're going to look at with these beautiful pegasus. Can you see pegasus on there? This lovely bronze pegasus, the flying horse. The very first one we're doing is called Vicolo Fiori, this one. It's an eau de toilette. It's so gorgeous. The thing that has astounded me about these fragrances, when I sprayed them on me, I spent about 2 hours with the fragrances and the dear representative in Milan, and I put some on me at the time, and then I had these. I selected, you know, the ones that I liked the best, and the strip came home with me, and I wrapped them in a clean serviette and put it in a bag so it would hold its own. And my goodness, the dry down, and these have preserved themselves so absolutely beautifully. So Vicolo Fiori is just, the quality of these fragrances, I can't even tell you. And their staying power, because you know, if you've watched anything that I do, that I honestly do not understand when you, and I'm going to cover one of them tonight of Versace, by the way, at the end. I don't understand. You're going to spend 120 or 300 or whatever it is, or 80, let's even say 60 on a fragrance, and literally 1 hour later, there's nothing there. You can't smell it. And this really is something that gets up my nose, because I am vintage perfume. That's what I represent. I just wish in this very inventive world we have of fragrances and people who make the noses that make these billion-dollar brands, that yes, they had to reformulate to take out some of the substances and chemicals they were putting in the 80s and whenever, but they can be innovative. They can find a way to make these fragrances last longer. I'm sure they can. But these are stunning, which means to me they've used natural ingredients and not just a bunch of chemicals. They're fabulous. So first one. Richard. Hi, Richard Kiko. We got all the men in the room. My goodness. I could start a dating agency for all you men. Look at you. There's a whole list of you. From all over the world. I'm so thrilled. Literally from the Caribbean to America to everywhere. So, first one. Absolutely stunning Etro. I cannot tell you how the dry down has preserved itself in this beautiful clean napkin I wrap these in. So Vicolo Fiori is a mix of florals, but it's got intensity. It's the kind of fragrance, if you caught a whiff of it on your scarf or on my Etro-esque robe, you would just say, give me more of that. Oh my goodness, if it wafted past you in Milan, which quite often happens to me. That is so stunning. So that's number one. I'm going to list them all in the description box. Don't worry. Love Etro, but don't hear. No, Richard, we have to resolve this problem. So, before I move on, I'm going to do the men's fragrance one, probably a little bit further on. But what was so exquisite for me was I unfolded this where I put it in the bag today and thought, I've got to do the Etro tonight. I wonder how these have shaped up, these beautiful Pegasus strips. Oh my God. This is so beautiful. I love patchouli. Patchouli done well. I've got Tom Ford white patchouli. I've got patchouli. I've got so many roses and patchouli behind me here. But this is an absolute dream. So I've got two. And I don't think I've ever smelt a more beautiful patchouli. Okay. It is not a soliflor because it has some obviously base notes and stuff, and I'll cover them for you. But this is the EDT first, the Eau de Toilette. I cannot express the joy that smelling this Etro patchouli gives me. It is so Beautiful. If I caught a whiff of this on someone's jacket as they passed me at lunch or whatever, I would literally go running after them. Oh my goodness. So that's the Eau de Toilette. It's simply called Patchouly. If you look on my Instagram, you'll see all the bottles. I've posted them. And then there's the EDP. In some ways, it's odd because this often happens with these luxury fragrances. The EDT almost seems a bit more intense. Patch is my favorite. You have to smell this patch. Oh my goodness gracious, my giddy aunt. This is so beautiful. This EDT. So I don't know which is stronger because they are both so exquisite. It literally came through the serviette, the closed serviette. When I put it down here on my desk, I thought, what is that smell? What did I put on today? It was this coming through this fabric. Oh my goodness. So I don't know which I would choose between the Eau de Toilette and the EDP. Probably as a man, the Eau de Toilette, because it's got a little bit more zing. But my goodness, how beautiful. Right, moving on. So, those of you who've watched anything I've ever done or said in my whole life know that I'm obsessed with roses, aren't I? I grow roses. I've got a whole collection. That's why I started collecting perfumes, the rose collection, because I cannot get enough of roses and really vintage, exquisite roses. And Last Rose of the Garden smells absolutely divine. Almost looks painted. It's so unreal. It doesn't always look real because it's all frosted on the edges from the frost that's already coming here because of fall. So, are you ready, men? Are you ready? Girls too, because you could wear this. I'm going to wear it. Oh. So, this is Etro, as I mentioned, this wonderful chic Italian house from Milan, founded in 1968 by Gimmo Etro. It's called Man Rose. Can you imagine a fragrance more? I just loved it when I first read it. I said, is it really called Man Rose? And he said, yes, it's called Man Rose. But he said, it's unisex. Anyone can wear it. But this is the most beautiful rose fragrance I have ever smelled that a man could wear. I have a couple that are too feminine. And look, anybody can wear anything. I'm not saying that as a man you can't wear whatever you want. Of course you can. But my goodness, it's called Man Rose. Oh my goodness. Richard says it's a great name. Well, it's just, because maybe a man would go into boutique or go into Etre and say, I don't mind rose. I like a bit of patchouli, but I want a manly rose. And I guess from that came Man Rose. And my goodness gracious, I love this rose. I think I might have to break my absolute rule and maybe get this rose of not buying luxury fragrances. And the staying power. This has been in here, and it's like I put it on, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes ago. It is exquisite. I'm going to read you some of the notes. But I've got a couple of amazing Man Roses. Here's another one. And if you haven't seen my Trussardi video, you need to go and look. I'll hook it up there. This is called the Black Rose. It features the Taif rose from the mountains of Saudi Arabia, and it's another beautiful rose from Trussardi, but very different. This is much more can I use the term cologne? This is much more cologne, and it has this lovely freshness, the sort of what used to be called in the 80s aftershave note, but it's such a beautiful rose, but it has that little thread, the golden thread of incense running through it. Whereas this Man Rose of Etro is just beautifully blended, doesn't vanish, such staying power, and it's so gorgeous. So, well, it was a lovely find, and after all the Chanels and the beautiful fragrances I've been reviewing, and Chanel exclusives, not any old Chanel, by the way. So I've been incredibly spoiled, and I have dear friends in Milan who look after me in this way, so I'm thrilled. Then we're going to cover another one from Etro that I loved, called Udaipur. In other words, it's a sort of take on Jaipur, which is a city in India. Oh my goodness. So I did a whole Arabic perfume edition. I did all the, Orientals, and the dry down of this. I don't know where you can find these in the States. I say buy luxury if it's worth it, and the fragrance has power. So yeah, uniqueness, power. You just wrapped up exactly, Richard, what I wanted to say about these. They're completely unique, like Etro's brand, chic, bohemian, with these luxury fabrics of rich velvets and brocades, like I'm wearing tonight, and unique and bohemian, but also super chic. Lovely leather. This is such a beautiful fragrance. It has shades of my Oriental Lampeau by Neridis from Paris. It has shades of that, little bit of spice, but not overly done. Nothing shout. It's beautifully blended. And it also has shades of my very precious antique Patchouly. But these fragrances that I'm reviewing for you tonight, I don't know where you can find them, but you need to go and find them and put your nose on them. They are amazing. The dry down on this, I could literally climb inside this fragrance. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. It's like if you took a rose and you sort of were able to divinely increase its beauty by 10,000% without adding any chemicals. That's what these fragrances smell like. They're just so true. Jaipur is a great fragrance. Oh, lovely. Oh, I'm glad you know it. So I don't know where you can try these, guys, but you need to find out where Etro is in the States. And hey, I'm willing to try and help anybody who wants to know. So tonight, it's been such a joy to have you guys, because as I was just talking about before, Milan is a city that I've been so attached to, because I've lived here for 17 years. And the design week is for the next 2 weeks, from the 6th to the 19th. And every designer from Missoni to Etro to everybody, those of you who've been to Milan know how beautiful the shopping is here. And I was just saying how bittersweet it was that last year Milan was completely silent. It was like, it was devastating, absolutely devastating. And we shouldn't forget how Italy bounced back from the most horrendous period in its history, in its recent history. And I'm so grateful that I can be here with you tonight and share the joy of Etro and these beautiful spoilies that I take away from Etro on my weekends. This absolutely beautiful cream, which you can layer with the vicolo Fiori. So I want to know from you guys, oh my goodness, this is so stunning. So, I mean, these are normally put in 5-star hotels because the Etro brand is sort of top of the pile. That is so stunning. And I think if you layered it with the perfume, it would even be better. But the staying power on this is amazing. So I think they certainly merit full bottle, full retail. And yeah, I smelt a lot of Tom Ford this week because I was in with Tom Ford in Milan with their team, and smelt my way through the whole bunch of stuff I didn't already know very well, like Rose Prick and like Lost Cherry, and a whole bunch of their new sort of tobacco-y. And I have to say, these Etros knock the socks. I also smelt the whole line of Bond number 9. And yeah, I wouldn't give you €50 for any one of them. Sorry if I'm offending anyone. They had zero staying power. Literally, by the time I'd sprayed it and walked away, I could smell nothing. And this is the second day, and these are, I can literally put my nose on this thing and smell it through this paper. That's how good they are. Great. So I said I would just give you a little surprise at the end of this. So while I was with Dolce & Gabbana and Versace, they were next to each other. Yeah, Versace was saying, have you smelled the new Dylan turquoise? Because we were talking about Dylan blue with the team. I'm sure some of you wear it, the unusual spots. Oh, lots of places to buy Etre. Okay, good. Richard, you're my savior. Oh, thank you. It's such a joy to talk to you guys. This is what I love. So anyway, I was with Versace, and they said, have you tried the new Dylan turquoise? I'm sure some of you guys would know about it. So we're gonna give it a spin tonight. Why was I interested? One, because I love the top of it, which has mandarin, which is not unusual. Lemon prima fiori essence. In other words, what they've done to try and be unique is taken the first lemon blossoms and distilled them, and then pink pepper, which is not unusual, black currant buds, absolute, so again a distillation, and then jasmine petals, freesia, but the unique thing here is guava. Now, Neron, who lives in the West Indies, I grew up in the Southern Hemisphere too, will know guava because it's maybe you'll all know guava, but it's not easily found, and it's certainly, I don't find it in Italy ever. It's not a tropical fruit country. I mean, I'm sure they import it, but it's not popular. And anyway, I was intrigued by the guava note in this Dylan turquoise from Versace with, the beautiful typical turquoise bottle. So I know Dylan blue pretty well, and I have a couple of Versace's here from the 80s, vintage Versace's, like that one with its iconic little bottle, for example. How cute was that? Do you remember this? Love the bottle with these emblemic sort of, it's like a Coca-Cola bottle, but with the Versace thing. Anyway, let's get back to this. So the guava note intrigued me. And then on the end, it has clear wood. Never heard of it in my life. Don't know what clear wood is. Vibrant woods and musks. Fabulous. So it's a floral woody musk. Okay, let's give it a spin. Right. So it's quite fresh on the beginning, but I expect it to be because it's got lemon, it's got mandarin, it's got pink pepper, so it's super fresh. Lovely. I think this is actually a great unisex because I think a man could wear this. I know this is for women, but a man could wear this. And of course, there's also the male version if you prefer something a bit more masculine. I love the top. But it takes a while for this guava. Who of you know guava? Do you like that sort of tart guava flavor? Milan, do you ever eat guavas? Anyway, I was intrigued by this guava because it's a kind of a sort of, it's a bit like quince. If you've ever had a quince, it's got that acerbic sort of sour sort of tart note of the guava. So the guava comes through. But let me tell you what I think of this. And it's kind of on the theme. I think you know where I'm going with this. I sprayed this on me a little bit earlier. Literally lasted 10 minutes and it was gone. And I think if you're paying a lot of money for people to make fragrances, as opposed to Versace fragrances and all my Italian vintages here, it lasts for hours. For example, I'm going to put one side by side. This is a new gourmet vintage 80s that I got from Sergio Soldano, another amazing designer from Milan who I love. I love his, I love this one of his, but I have a couple of his. I think I have about 5 of his. But anyway, let's go back to this. So this is a fruity gourmand, quite similar. in its notes to this Versace. So I put this on today, and in the morning I had sprayed on this Via Venti, which was completely new to me. I knew nothing about it, except that it was a gourmand, and I was going to try it because it came in my batch of 80s beautiful bottles that I wanted to try from Sergio Soldano. And this is a complete gourmet 80s. Okay, it's got the aldehydes. You can't get away from it. It's 80s. What can you do? But once the aldehydes burn off, and it takes a while, this is the most delicious gourmet kind of. It's got a bit of banana, pineapple, everything. It's so delicious. And it literally lasted all day. I put the tiniest amount on, lasted all day, as opposed to Versace, which costs 20 times as much, because I get these vintage fragrances at the most ridiculous prices because I have an old antique chemist who saves them all for me. Look at this bottle. Isn't it stunning? It's so very beautiful. Anyway, this lasted all day, and now I've put this on. It will probably last after my shower and probably till tomorrow morning when I get up. The Versace is already gone. I can barely smell this. So this is, do you guys agree about this? Do you ever feel like vintage Linaridis? Oh, I love it. Here they are. Love them. Best thing in the world. My most prized possessions, these two. You could go everywhere with these two. If you had these two perfumes, you don't need anything else. Just my own opinionated vintage thing. So do you guys agree with me that sometimes you spray these perfumes and they literally, I can barely smell this, and I've just put it on myself. Literally. Oh, lovely. Thanks, Randy. They're gorgeous. Yeah. I was just very lucky to get the original bottles. I did. You need to. I'll put it up there. There's a whole Oriental edition I did where I reviewed these two, and they're magnificent. I just don't understand, Richard, why we need to pay for something with all the money that Versace has, that has zero staying power. As I was just saying to you guys, while I was in Milan doing my testing the other day, you need to go and look at my last video, the Chanel and the Lancôme, Maison Lancôme, and I reviewed Yves Saint Laurent, a whole bunch of designers. And they had great staying power. And then I went to the Bond counter because it was with Diptyque. A friend of mine does it, Federico. It had Diptyque, Bond number 9, and Clive Christensen, all, luxury brands. I literally tasted my way through the whole Bond 9 range, and they were like water. I literally, after I'd done the whole thing, I thought, I can't smell one of these. I don't know how you could pay for that. The only one I smelled that I thought had some kind of allure was Sutton Place, I think it was. The bottles are beautiful, but I'm not coming to buy a beautiful bottle. If I want a beautiful bottle, I can go and buy a beautiful Murano glass vase from Venice and spend that much money or less. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued with these perfumes that literally don't last. I think the biggest failure of the last 20 years in perfume, since we lost the Bernard Chants and the masterpieces from the 80s, is that with the reformulation, I don't know what excuse they give. Maybe they are just diluted. I don't know, so that you need to buy more. I literally can barely smell this. It is a skin scent, and I've just put it on myself. So if I was going out for a night now and I sprayed this lovely Versace Parfum Dylan turquoise on and wanted to go out for a gorgeous evening in summer, I would literally get into my car and the perfume wouldn't be there anymore. How can that be right? Whereas this little vintage fruity gourmandie, which has these sort of guava-y, fruity, tons of fruit. It's got a whole fruit salad in it. This will last me 3 days. And it costs a fraction, and the bottle's stunning. I mean, I don't know what these are, horses, or I don't know what they are. Anyway, looks impressive anyway. Anyway, going back to Etro, which was the reason for this video, I can't recommend you enough to go and try these fragrances. And I'm so impressed with Etre. Honestly, when I first smelled the man rose, I thought, oh, okay, maybe not. And because I smelled a whole lot of roses on that day, I think just from the good houses, I must have smelled, I don't know, 60 roses, but man rose stood out. So guys, if you can, give it a try. But not only the Jaipur, the Patchouly. Oh my goodness gracious. This Patchouly, the EDP, and the Eau de Toilette also. I wish I could just let you smell this little pegasus strip. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, boys, it's so lovely to have you join me on Design Week here in Milan. I have no idea. What time is it there, Richard? Thanks. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up now. Don't forget, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, to subscribe and like and all of that nice stuff. And leave me a comment. Leave me a comment down below. I know you've commented here, but when you watch it back, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you like. And send me a question. I'm asking on I'll choose a question on every new edition. Ask Amanda. Send me whatever question you want on Instagram in my message, and I will answer them. Oh, thank you, Randy. What a gorgeous bunch of gentlemen I've got. How honored am I? So, from Milan, from my lovely Etro gown. See you soon. See you soon. Don't forget that rose, man rose. From Milan. Bye. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.